If America's workplaces were healthier, Americans would be healthier. I'm going to say it again. If America's workplaces were healthier, Americans would be healthier. Mental health is the big buzzword. It's all anybody ever talks about. It's all over the place. We're as mentally weak as any nation in the world. Some of it is we're just weak. Other situations are very, very real and compelling. A lot of it is we bring it on ourselves. But a lot of it is we spend a lot of time, in fact, more time in the office or more time at work than anything else that we do, most of us. And so if we are not healthy at work, we will not be healthy in life. It's just pretty simple. By the way, the science, the data, whatever you want to quote, backs me up on this. If I am healthy at work, I have a greater chance for mental, emotional, and physical health. I'm not dragging a bunch of crap around all day long that I end up dragging home with me. If you are treated like less than or treated in a harmful way during the workday, that is going to come home with you. So, new survey by Deloitte about well-being in the workplace. Workers, this is if you want your one big headline, we'll break it down. This is the big takeaway. Workers say their well-being is worse. Executives think it has improved. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, it's worse for us, say the workers. The leaders go, well, we think it's improved. We got ourselves a gap that must be minded. By the way, mind the gap is my favorite new phrase. I took my wife to Europe about a month ago for our 25th wedding anniversary. And so we rode the tube everywhere in London. That was great fun. We rode the metro in Paris. And so everywhere in London, though, every time the doors would open, you would hear a very polite British voice say, mind the gap between the door, the train, and the platform. And I think it's fantastic. And boy, does that have some great application to our lives. Hey, mind the gap. What gaps do you have in your life? Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. Mind the gap. Leaders, you need to mind this gap. Workers, you need to mind this gap. What does the gap look like? Deloitte surveyed 1,050 C-suite executives, 1,050 managers, and 1,050 employees across the U.S., UK, Canada, and Australia in March. And so what you can see here is they took C-suite executives, managers, and then employees, and the same amount of people surveyed. And so this is what they found when it came to well-being. 58% said their mental well-being was good or excellent. 63% for physical well-being. 45% for social. And 35% for financial. Now, I'm just going to tell you, if you stay in that 45% of social, your social life, your relationship life, it's eventually going to affect you physically. These numbers drop off dramatically at social well-being and financial well-being. Most employees said their well-being either worsened or stayed the same last year. Only 1/3 say their health improved. Financial well-being took the biggest hit. 37% of surveyed workers saying their financial well-being had declined over the past year amid fears of recession, prompting people to cut back on spending. So there's a lot of fear stuff going on here, and inflation is real. It hits you right where it counts. Groceries, gas, I mean, that's pain. That's real pain. So no surprise there. But what's not mentioned in this, and we see in the American data, credit card debt continues to set new records every month. It's like you just watch. How many times this year will you see a headline? In fact, go Google the headline, credit card debt at an all-time high. There's a new article out every week, it feels like. However, for each of the four categories of well-being, mental, physical, social, and financial, more than 3/4 of the C-suite execs said they thought their workforce's well-being had improved. So the analyst wrote, the C-suite doesn't realize how poorly its workers are doing. So are they clueless, the C-suiters, as to how their people are really doing? Are they super confident in some of the new things they've rolled out over the past couple of years that I report on this show? Like quiet rooms in the office where you can go try to recover from bad bossery. Is it extra days off? Mandatory days off where the whole company just doesn't work. These are new fads. Might I suggest these are new Band-Aids? If I cut my hand open right here, as I did several years ago, I could see the scar. You can't see it. But I cut my hand really bad, about that's not true, about a 3-inch, you can barely see it now, but it cut me open. I mean, it was nasty, okay? Backyard, working on some stuff. And I'll never forget, I walked inside. I was so embarrassed to show my wife. I was like, babe, you're going to need to drive me to the ER. I knew it was going to be stitches. But it was bleeding so bad, and I didn't want my wife to have to deal with it. So what I did is I grabbed a clean sock out of the laundry room in a hurry. I wrapped it around my hand. I mean, I wouldn't recommend you do this at home. And then I got some duct tape, and I mean like with the teeth, and I duct taped that sucker so tight, there was no blood coming off. Now, here's the deal. If I just walked around that day going, hey, Stace, no need to go get stitches. I got the sock on here. I got the duct tape. It's not bleeding. It'll heal eventually. That's not going to solve the problem. A bandage, a clean bandage, is not going to solve the problem. The only thing that's going to solve the problem is stitching. That's it. So, we got all these new things trying to help people with quiet rooms and respite rooms and extra days off. Hey, how about you create an environment, leaders, where people aren't so freaking stressed out all the time? How about you look at their workload and go, do you have too much on your plate? Do you have the resources to do what we're asking you to do? How about you check in on them on a weekly basis and go, how are you doing? How can I help you win in your role? Mind-blowing leadership. How about we did that? Then you wouldn't need a bunch of respite rooms. Well, what about leaders? Is it just the workers? Well, this is fascinating. According to the same study, 3/4 of C-suite executives say they are more likely to leave due to mental health related issues. 75% there, and then nearly 2/3, 64% of managers said they're seriously considering quitting their current job for one that supports their well-being at a higher level. So wait a second. Not only is this a worker team member issue, this is a leadership issue. So if the C-suiters and managers are looking for more balance, and they are feeling burned out, and they are overwhelmed, and they are unhealthy, guess what? They're pushing that junk down. So maybe the secret is to get some healthy executives and healthy managers who then go, wait a second. The key to me leading a team with well-being is to have well-being myself. I don't know. Just a thought.